Let's just get one thing straight, and I'm probably about to hurt some feelings here. If you're a socialist, and I mean a full-blown socialist, not a democratic socialist, although several of you democratic socialists have this problem too. If you're a communist, if there is anarcho anything in your self-identified label, if you're an anarchist of any one of these fucking Baskin-Robbins flavors,
oh my god,
a fucking anarchist. If you're an anti-statist or anarcho-capitalist, you're a fucking retard.
Poisoning the well much?
Okay? Common sense destroys everything about your belief system.
It doesn't. Really, it doesn't.
You are fucking stupid. Okay?
Okay.
Human beings naturally form societies.
Yeah, I get it, but societies and governments are two different things.
We all used to be hunter-gatherer monkeys. And then, when there was enough resources to go around, we developed something called the trade class, which means not everybody was a hunter-gatherer, not everyone was a farmer, some people were artisans.
It sounds like just a normal economy.
And once there were artisans, there were bureaucrats. This...
Not true. Here, let's look up, history of government. Okay. No. Okay, political history of the world. Okay. The first states of sorts, okay. Well, history, political elites, entities have expanded from basic systems of self-governance and monarchy to the complex democratic and totalitarian systems that exist today. Imperial political systems have expanded from vaguely defined frontier-type boundaries to the national definite boundaries existing today. Okay, ancient history, civilizations did not have definite boundaries that have states today, and therefore could be more accurately defined as frontiers. Early Dynasty Sumer and early Dynasty Egypt were the first civilizations to define their borders. Moreover, up to the 20th century, many people lived in non-state societies. These range from relatively egalitarian bands and tribes, complex and highly stratified chiefdoms. The first states of sorts were those of early dynastic Sumer and early dynastic Egypt, which arose for a year period in pre-dynastic Egypt at approximately 3000 before Common Era. Okay, let's see how long humans have been around. How long have humans been around? About 200,000 years. Okay. Humans have been around for about 200,000 years. And, let's see. Okay. So, humans have been around for over 200,000 years. Government's been around for only, like, the last 5,000 years. And this guy is saying, oh, it's natural for people to just form societies, even though naturally they haven't been forming societies for over 195,000 years. Go figure.
Will happen no matter what.
Oh, no matter what, okay, we'll explain this. Mexico, anarchy. Okay, here's the Mexican.
That means mostly The armed men and women who guard every entrance to Tirana are looking for strangers with contraband. At the height of election season, that means mostly political campaign ads. Ads like these, and the political parties that produce them, are completely banned in this town of 20,000. It's been that way since 2011, when the population kicked out an organized crime syndicate, along with every cop and politician in town.
Se expulsó a los policías de ese momento porque nos dimos cuenta que estaban coludidos con el crimen.
¿Ustedes acudían a la policía a que los ayuden?
De hecho, mucha gente en un primer momento denunció cualquier abuso, pero ahí les daban carpetazo y no hacían nada.
The criminals' main business was illegal.
Okay, in their place, the people of Tehran have developed an autonomous system of self-rule based on horizontal direct democratic assemblies. It seems to be in Kapistan. Pretty darn close to it. What about this? What about Slab City? Okay.
I have to wait until they're done talking. Who the hell is that? Who is that? Brian Worthy? Who do you think you are? You walk up into my neighborhood? Are you coming to the range? Are you coming to the range? Okay, good, you better. That's what, actually that was, I hope you got all that, because I was like, yeah, that's awesome, because that's a perfect example. Like, we have fights, and we have, you know, we have our disputes and all these other things, and some people shouldn't even be here at all. Some crazies don't mesh with other crazies, but at the end of the day, like, if you're a slabber, and, you know, or if you're a misfit, somebody who's never, you know, fit in, a vagabond, will still respect you, and will still at least love you, you know? Like, and that's what I dig about it. It feels like a big family. The summer is a test of faith, okay? A test. The more responsible people in Slab City, which is scary. Holy shit. We're here. Yeah, welcome to the ring.
Okay, it's a bit run down, but it's an example of an Ancap community that isn't as chaotic as they're saying or gonna say it is.
This is the natural state of human beings, and it cannot and will not be subverted.
Okay, how about this? Anarcho-capitalism in history. Okay, here's free beer. Celtic Ireland, that was Ancap. Okay, hold on, it's not letting me highlight this. Icelandic Commonwealth, Rhode Island. And you got all these asshole governments that wanna fuck up these Ancapistans. Even though they work so fine alone. But hey, that's the state for you. Alright.
If you think a completely non-state society can exist, you are wrong.
I just showed you that it can, so you're the one who's wrong.
Okay?
Okay. Jesus, guys.
Roughly 4% of the population are psychopaths who don't give a fuck about you. I'm not talking about like Hannibal Lecter running around. I'm talking about there are roughly 4% of the population does not naturally exist in a state of empathy. When they first see you, they see you like a video game player sees a video game sprite. You don't matter. It doesn't mean they're going to kill you or rape you. Because if that psychopath were to kill or rape you, they'd go to jail. And they don't want to go to jail because they care about themselves. They just don't give a fuck about you in even the most basic sense.
Okay, they won't necessarily go to jail since people have escaped justice before. But guess what? You can protect yourself from these assholes. Guns, knives, bare fists, armed security, private police, private military, militia groups, other people. You can defend yourself against these assholes.
Now, the average human being is remarkably non-violent.
Okay,
You wouldn't believe how many people went to war and never ever shot their gun at another person. Ever. And how many of them deliberately missed when they fired at somebody. In World War II, only about 2% of people were out there shooting to kill. That's an interesting statistic, isn't it? And it's a fact.
let's search this up. Most people in war didn't fire to kill. Okay, let's see. Okay, fuck that up.
Along the Rodriguez Canal. Leading that ragtag band, though, was General Andrew Jackson, a hard-boiled American frontiersman and veteran swamp fighter, along with his unlikely ally, the French corsair and scoundrel Jean Lafitte, released from jail along with his crews to aid in Ireland's defense. Together, the two hunkered down against overwhelming odds and prepared for the worst. They hadn't counted on the bumbling incompetence of the Redcoats. As the overwhelming British force approached the 15-foot-wide canal, Lieutenant Colonel Mullins, whose job was to bring the ladders to cross the canal, had plumb forgotten the ladders back in camp. General Jackson was eventually informed that the war had already been over for weeks, but his valiant, if pointless, defense of New Orleans made him a hero to the American people. His reputation would carry him to the presidency 14 years later. As for Jean Lafitte, he was granted full pardon for his efforts, but ever the scoundrel, he went right back to piracy. Benedict Connecticut sings the Battle of New Orleans song, you know? 1914, we took a little along with Colonel Jackson. We took a little bacon and we took a little beans and we fought the bloody British in the town. Fired our guns and the British kept coming. There was a nice man, yeah, there was a lot of guns. We fired once more and they began to run on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay, could be right.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. And if you want to crush your trivia night, come on down to history.
Okay.
In your little anarcho-fucking utopia,
We never claimed it to be a utopia. Never. Nobody who's an Ancap ever complained, ever claimed, if I could fucking talk, that anarcho-capitalism would be a utopia, that it would be perfect. This is a clear straw man. All we claimed is that it wouldn't be state-run, it wouldn't have politicians, it wouldn't have a monopoly on violence / arbitration, which is what exactly government is, which you support to a degree. I see on your videos you complain so much about the left. Yeah, you complain so much about the left, leftist companies, Democrats, modern politics, PewDiePie. Leftists don't want safe spaces. All charges drop against Jesse Smollett. Stupid shit progressives say. Soaps and you're bigot. Okay, you complain so much about the left, yet you fail to realize It was government who put them there. It was government who put the left there, which you hate so much. You see, here's the thing about voting is you can vote for whoever is on the ballot, and that can be the left, that can be the right, but at least gives you the chance to put whoever is on the ballot in power. Okay, so that's one reason you shouldn't even have government, is because it allows you to put the supposedly exclusively bad people in power. When in reality, they're all bad to a degree. They all shouldn't be in power. And yet you talk like, you know, us Ancaps are just fucking idiots that, you know, as you say in your description, that your philosophy is incoherent, self-contradictory, retardation that is utterly impossible to implement or create. You are brain damaged, stupid, moronic, Down syndrome, mongoloids, and you are a waste of oxygen. Really, dude? Really? That's your argument? You know, or at least part of it, you're just gonna string all these insults to us, these childish insults, these small-minded insults, and you know, you seem so pissed. I mean, goddamn, it's just whatever. Play the video.
That 2% will form a raider band, much like in the Fallout video games or in Mad Max, and they...
Those aren't real, okay? Fallout, not real. Mad Max, not real, and you know, contrary to popular belief, Mad Max isn't even an Ancap movie. It's not, okay? Look, let's look it up. Mad Max. Okay? This is gonna be good. Okay, it's a dystopian action thriller. That is what it is, but what it is not is an Ancap. Okay, dystopian in Australia. A few years from now, motorbike gang member Crawford Knight Rider Montano kills a rookie officer of the Main Force Patrol, which is a government-run police group, okay? Manages to lead under MFP, but he encounters the MFP's top pursuit, Max, which actually aka Mad Max. Okay, and then you go here, and then go here. Well, neither of the rape victims of Rennie Township would show up for Johnny's trial. The federal courts closed the case, and with Johnny's attorneys releasing him to Bobby's custody over Goose's spurious objections. Okay? Look. Main Force Patrol. Federal courts. Not in Capistan. That's government, not in Capistan. In Fallout, you have like the New California Republic and the Enclave and Brotherhood of Steel. They want to form a government, so much for your examples, which aren't even real.
They will come to your house, they will fuck your wife, they'll kill your kids, they'll take your stuff, and they'll fucking skin you.
Okay. Oh my god. And are you telling me I don't have guns to defend against that shit? Are you telling me that nobody has guns to defend against shit? Are you telling me that that couldn't happen in a government society? Oh my god. People have guns. People have knives. They have their bare fists. Not everyone does have guns or knives, but at least some people do. So at least some people are going to defend themselves regardless of any state. If they have that stuff, they can defend themselves regardless of a state. In fact, the state actually makes it harder to defend yourself because of gun control, shitty self-defense laws, and, you know, a government that, you know, instigates crime with the war on drugs and gun control, as I mentioned for the past thing about making it hard to defend yourself. But gun control also creates crime in and of itself. And then you have prohibition of other material goods or services such as prostitution, which also create crime. And you're telling me I can't defend myself even though guns exist, even though buying guns exists. You're telling me I can't defend myself, that I need a state to do that. That is bullshit on your part. Oh my god.
Okay? And they will do it until they form a kingdom. and they rule everybody. And you know what they'll do? They'll form a
What?
trade class and a bureaucracy and a farmer class, and it'll all start all over again.
And nobody can defend against that, really. Bunch of rapist assholes violating the NAP. Nobody can defend themselves and stop them from forming a state. Oh my god, this guy has nothing to base his arguments on.
State is an inevitability. The state that you...
No, it's not. I just showed you some Ancap communities. And even if it is somewhat of human nature, that doesn't justify it. You can't justify a state just because it's human nature, okay? If it's violating the NAP, it needs to be stopped, it needs to be punished, it needs to go.
pretend is some sort of Illuminati-esque conspiracy.
We're not doing that. The government really is full of asshole politicians that do asshole things. We're not all tinfoil hat people, okay? In fact, I'd say no Ancap that is truly worth their weight in gold or Bitcoin is an Illuminati conspiracy theorist.
That can be subverted, that can be replaced, is nothing more than human nature and the natural societal state of a social species.
I just showed you 95 fucking thousand years of humans. Yeah, 200,000 years ago, humans formed like one basic type, and for over 195,000 of those 200,000 years, we had no government. And then enter the last 5,000 years, government. What are you talking about? I don't get it.
It will happen without fail. It can't be stopped. And
yes, it can. If you get people to stop believing the fucking state, or at least enough of them, you will no longer have a state. You will no longer have tax revenue or adequate tax revenue to pay these powerhouse tyrannical assholes in suits to keep ruling over you. Look it up. Look, there's various free market, okay. Free market. How about life without a state? You can view stuff such as this.
About once a year, I discover a book that changes the way I think or behave in some area of my life. Around once a decade, I discover a book that I wish I'd written. A book so powerful, it paints a picture of the world that I dream of.
Okay. So this you can
You know how
watch.
much I love a good read in a free market. The easiest way of proving this is a lie is to look at what it's spent on. Politicians like to talk about freedom. They like to give us the impression that we live in a freedom-loving democracy and that we trade in a free market.
Okay, you can view that, for example. You can also view free market roads, anarcho-capitalism. Okay, how about that guy, T. Rhodes? Who would build the roads, and then you have...
Hey YouTube, what's going on? As you can see, this video isn't the same as my usual format, me standing in front of a camera rambling about. I'm beginning a new video looking to capitalize on the large density of passing traffic. The company in question, McDonald's. So, McDonald's negotiates with Gold Real Estate to buy a plot of land.
Okay, you got this video you can watch. Oh my god.
every single communist who has tried has inevitably formed a fascist totalitarian.
Okay, communism and fascism are two different things, okay? And, oh my god, and communism is not anarcho-capitalism, it is a state. Look, fascism is basically a totalitarian government economic system that calls for an elite, where communism is a totalitarian government economic system that, you know, claims it's equal, and everyone gets to share, you know, claims there isn't a call for an elite when there really is. Communism basically pretends there's no elite. Fascism outright says there is. And an elite slash government slash state, that's not anarcho-capitalism. So why are you bringing this up?
Nightmare state. Because the only way you can force everyone to be equal is with force.
Yeah, and that's a state.
You know, that scary word that anarcho-retards are.
Anarcho-retards. This guy is good with the words, not so good with the actual arguments.
Fucking so afraid of. Force. Taxation is force.
It is force. Try not paying your taxes. See what happens. You get IRS warnings slash threats. You get your money taken away, frozen, property taken away. You know, if you keep not paying your taxes, and then eventually you get cops at your door to take you away for not paying taxes. And if you resist those cops enough, bang, you get shot. Or should I say, bang, 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 you get shot. Dead. This guy knows nothing about how it works, you know. He's acting like, we just need this state, you fucking retard Ancaps. And yet, he doesn't realize that, oh, you don't need this state, you can run without it. The state doesn't even work with its war on drugs, wars, gun control, truancy laws. Oh my god, this guy is painful.
Regulation is force. Force.
It is. Okay, look, there's like two types of regulation. There's free market regulation, which is voluntary, which is the market regulates itself by people buying the good stuff, investing in the good stuff, working for the good stuff, and doing the exact opposite for the bad. Shunning the bad, not working for the bad, you know, calling out the bad. That's free market regulation. Where government regulation is where you have all these laws about taxes you have to pay, licenses you have to have, you know, oversight you need to have, safety regulations you need to have, which would, you know, safety regulations would be done a lot better than the free market than, you know, this OSHA crap. Well, let me search some out. Free market works better. Okay. Okay, free market works better in some places than others. Market economy depends on competitive market barriers. Okay. Saying provision of public goods. Rivalry party. Okay, this doesn't make any sense. Well-functioning markets in turn depend on three foundations. He's saying public goods, a reliable legal system, quality education, pre-K through college, sound fiscal. That's the same old stuff I've heard from Statist again and again that isn't true. Look, anything can be provided by the free market. You need food, you need water, you need housing, you need guns, you need police, you need a military. It can be provided by the free market. You need education, free market. Anything, materials, goods and services, free market. So why the hell is this saying, oh, you need public goods? You need You need public goods and, you know, education and infrastructure and courts. That needs to be public. I mean, what the hell? Okay, so cost of free markets, Mises Institute, my territory. Hold up. Okay, let's see if I can work. Would God prefer our wealth be controlled by free people obtaining goods and services in a free market or by government? By a system that maximizes individual opportunity or by a system that minimizes the individual? By us or the world around us? If you ask questions this morning, I was 83.1 million Americans born between 1982 and 2000. You'll get a surprising answer. Okay, 51% of Americans between the ages of 18 to 29, the bulk of the millennial generation, reject capitalism. That's pretty fucking disturbing. Okay, this is a lot of God stuff, but the economic stuff is definitely universal, definitely solid. Okay, consider 1 billion people have escaped extreme poverty since 1990 owing to the embrace of free markets. It's no coincidence that this dramatic decline in poverty occurred as the Soviet Union's Marxist-Lenin experiment imploded. Indeed, it is capitalism, not socialism, that has lifted some 500 million people out of poverty in China in the past 30 years. Yeah.
Force is wrong. Force is natural.
That doesn't make it right. You know, the people you complained about, the rapists, murderers, that could be natural in the sense to want to do that stuff, but that doesn't justify it.
Force is a law of human interaction.
But people don't necessarily do that stuff. So why are you saying it's a law?
Under your stupid fucking description of force.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's getting really hard to, like, deal with this hot-headed statist moron, but I'm gonna keep going.
So, any of you people, and I'm not talking about people who want to reduce the power of the government, because the optimal government is the smallest one. However, no government...
Okay. If you have a small government, you're still having force to have these men in suits rule over you. They just don't do it. They just do it as little as possible, but that's still force, and plus monarchy can easily grow from monarchy to moderate statism, to major statism, to absolute statism. It will grow. It's government. It seeks to expand itself. Through taxation, through opportunities for the elites, it will grow. And monarchy is basically the message that government is so bad, we want it to control the bare essentials. Yeah, something that is bad, use control the bare essentials. That makes no sense to do.
or self-government of random people on their little private property is impossible.
How? And how is government possible? How is government, with all the violence the state has done, you know, killing over like 500 million people through acts of democide alone, how is that possible? How does that work? How does the war on drugs work? How does truancy laws work? How does war work? How does any of that bullshit work exactly?
If there's no law enforcement, which is...
There's private law... Oh my god. There's private law enforcement. Look, I'm opening links up the ass. Here's SEAL security. Here's... You know, here's what they do. Right now, they're just... Well, for this particular instance, they're just patrolling a very small portion of Houston, Texas. But it works.
Crimes like that have neighbors in Sharpstown looking for protection, but not from police. They found another way to cut crime, and it is working. Brad Woodard has their solution in a story you'll see only on KHOU 11 News.
Show me 1041 Sharpstown Sector 3.
As Officer Leroy Bill patrols the streets for the Sharpstown Civic Association.
We're looking for broke windows. We're looking for kicked-in doors.
He looks and sounds like a cop.
At least it's quiet today.
And he and his fellow officers are certainly armed like cops, complete with canines. When most people hear private security, what do they think?
They think mall cops.
No mall cops here. They are security officers with SEAL security, and they've been under contract with the subdivision since November.
We actually patrol districts and subdivisions like this one, give them a little bit more security for their money.
The Civic Association used to contract with the constable's office for a deputy to patrol the area. But now that it's gone with SEAL security, it has anywhere from 3 to 4 officers patrolling the streets at any given time, and at half the cost. Also cut in half.
Half the cost.
The number of burglaries. The average monthly number last year.
At about 20 per month.
And in February?
11.
Okay, I guess technically that isn't half, since half of 20 is 10, and they got the burglaries down to 11, but it's definitely an improvement. So much for you wouldn't have law enforcement rhetoric.
Basically the actual force of the state. There will be looting and rioting and rape and murder and pillage.
Yeah, and people couldn't defend themselves against that. People couldn't have guns. People couldn't have law enforcement, private military, bodyguards, militia. They couldn't have any of that because potatoes. Yeah, right.
And it will happen until power accrues in enough places that those places form societies. Or the people will band together, the non-violent people, let's talk about them for 1 second, will band together, they'll form some kind of republic or democracy where they delegate rules, they will elect leaders, and it will happen.
And why can't the people just defend themselves right then and there from all these assholes? The rapists, the murderers, the kidnappers, robbers. Why can't they do that right then and there? Why do they have to wait for a state to form? That makes no sense. The people, these assholes are attacking people right now. Why can't they defend themselves right now? Why do they have to make red tape for that? You're not making any sense. I mean, people need defense right now, and yet you're saying to essentially wait and form a state and do it then. I mean, that doesn't follow.
So, if you have this reflexive phobia of the state...
It's not a phobia. Do I want to get shot by cops just for having a plan? Or not paying taxes, or even complying? Do I want to get thrown in jail? Like if I were going back to when I was a minor just for skipping school, skipping an indoctrination camp? Do I want to support war? You know, that kills all these people, civilian and soldier alike, even on both sides? Do I want that? No, but the state does that stuff, and you support the state. Maybe not those things in particular, but you at least support by like proxy the outlet to make it even possible. You support the state, which makes all this shit possible. Therefore, by proxy, you support stuff even if you don't like directly support it. So, who are you to talk?
You are a fucking retard.
Oh my god, how many times are you gonna say that? It's really annoying. You are a fucking retard. Yeah, no I'm not. You're the one who doesn't know his facts. Maybe you should call yourself a fucking retard. Because you're the one who's spewing out bullshit. Just saying.
People I used to like, until I found out what their politics were like that guy T, are fucking retards.
Here we go again.
And I'll tell you
10th time.
Why. Every single person, without fail, who is an anarcho, anti-statist, fucking anarcho-capitalist, narco-communist, communist, whatever, without fail, is somebody who is middle or upper class.
Wait,
It is
whoa, wait a second. Middle or upper class, only those people are Ancaps. Where are you getting this information from? Really? Where? Oh my god. Look, you can be an Ancap no matter who you are. If you're poor, you can be an Ancap. If you're middle class, you can be an Ancap. If you're rich, you can be an Ancap. If you don't want to be screwed over by the state, you can be an Ancap. Wow, what a revelation. You know, people of all walks of life have been screwed by the state. Poor people have been screwed over by the state. Like, if you have, like, a drug conviction, you know, non-violent drug conviction, and that makes you ineligible for lost employment due to the state, you can become homeless. In fact, I'll put a link in the description of this one guy that was homeless exactly because of that reason. He can't find work because the state went, oh, you have a substance we don't like, you should suffer for that. Also, you can be middle class and be an Ancap if you don't like the state, you know, tugging on you for taxes, regulations, increasing property prices, increasing vehicle prices. You can be middle class and not want the state because of that. You know, you're an average Joe that could be made into a poor Joe by the state. You can be Ancap because of that. Moving on to the final class, the rich. You can be an Ancap if you don't like having to pay for all these damn regulations just so you can stay in business, just so you can stay rich. You know, you constantly have to have these regulations held above your head in order not to have your corporation shut down or your big company or whatever. You know, you gotta do this, that, and the other. You gotta fork over a lot of your earnings to the government. I mean, there's over 80,000 pages of regulation in the Federal Register for businesses. That ain't easy to follow. That ain't easy to have to deal with. But they have to go through it anyway in order to be in business. So, I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
basically impossible to be a working class communist.
We're not talking about oh my god.
Okay? And that sounds sort of strange. Because supposedly the communists are the proletariat, the working class, rebelling against the bourgeoisie. The thing is, the inevitable result of the proletariat overthrowing the bourgeoisie is the proletariat becoming the bourgeoisie and then initiating a violent power struggle to fill the vacuum of the recently beheaded and slaughtered and mutilated bourgeoisie. Until what exists is no longer an aristocracy, but a fascist dystopia.
Oh my god, communism is not fascism. Look it up. Put a link in the script. I'll put a link in the description. Fascism and communism, how they're different. Fascism calls for an elite. Communism pretends the elite isn't there. Jesus Christ, this guy. And we're not talking about communism. We're talking about anarcho-capitalism. Anarcho-capitalism is not anarcho-communism. It's not communism, period. It's free markets. Communism is force, not free markets. You do not have it down.
So I repeat, and I don't give a shit, you can argue with me in the comments and I will fucking destroy you.
Not gonna happen.
If you are an anarcho anything, if you're an Ancap, if you're a communist, if you're an anarcho-feminist, whatever the fuck, you are a fucking stupid, spoiled brat, cunt, retard. You are the lowest fucking pond scum. Feminists make more sense than you. And
oh my god. Not an argument, not an argument, not an argument. And you're the one who's at the very least coming off as a brat, you know, spitting at us, well, camera-wise, I didn't see any spit, but there might be some spit.
Have more.
And being so hot-headed and hot under the collar and insulting us, that I'd say you're the brat, and at most you are the brat. You know, at least you're, at the very least you're coming off as a brat, and at the most you are a brat, you know. Telling these people who think differently than you in this sense of just wanting you to be free, that we're brats, we're spoiled brats. Yet we don't want to get stolen from, we don't want to get killed, we don't want to get robbed, we don't want to get beaten. You're calling us, you know, spoiled cunt brats for that when you support a state that wants us to get killed, that wants us to get beaten, that wants us to be oppressed, and to, you know, on the cherry on top of the sundae, support all that, like you do. Very funny. That's very funny, Darren. That's hilarious.
More sense than you. That is how pathetic you are. Thanks for watching.
And boy, was it painful to watch all that bullshit. But hey, this is the debunking video. Want to debunk something? You gotta watch it. So, yeah. Oh my god, that guy. I'm gonna recommend this guy to other Ancaps to debunk, because he's perfect for the debunking, you know. Spews all this bullshit. Yeah, I'm gonna recommend him to, like, Shane Killing. So, yeah, that's the end. Jesus Christ.